Dear Metallica. Hey guys, you remember me? I was one of the legions of teenagers that found out about your music somewhere between the Justice for All record and the Black Album, and was instantly drawn in by your unique sonic approach and attack. I'm only asking if you remember me because it's been a long time since you created any music that's even remotely close to those sounds. I'm not one of those morons who thinks that if you cut your hair it somehow changes your sound. That's about as dumb a statement as you can make, and I still spin load and reload on a pretty consistent basis as there's a lot of good music there. But the reality is, it's been almost 15 years since you put out any music of actual musical worth. I'm also not gonna dwell on how not rock and roll one of you guys has been over the past 15 years. I mean, honestly, your need to get every last cent out of your latest attempt to make music of worth is just getting pitiful. You're supposed to be creating music because you love to do it, not to get a paycheck. Do you know how hard it was as one of your true fans to attempt to defend that utterly embarrassing project you called S&M? Come on, that was such a musical jerk-off, it wasn't even funny. I'm not bashing classical music in any way, but the only way that you guys could have done something more pretentious and self-serving would have been to put out a feature film about how difficult it is to be in one of the biggest, richest rock bands on the planet. Now, I will say that I applaud you for taking a shot at the Lulu record back in 2011. And while that was a complete musical disaster, it wasn't your fault. Anyone outside of the project knew that you guys were the wrong band for that from the get-go, and nobody in their right mind would turn down a chance to work with Lou Reed. That was a very brave move for you guys, and you did the best you possibly could have under those circumstances. I know, every single one of your albums going back to the Black Album has been #1 on the charts. You can go ahead and spit those statistics all you want. We both know that just because an album hits #1 doesn't mean it's good. It means it's popular. You know who falls back on sales numbers to justify the worth of their music? Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga. Pop stars do that, not rock stars. Rock stars rely on the music to speak for itself, and over the past decade, you guys have been little more than a whisper. I get the fact that playing in a hard rock or heavy metal band is pretty much a young man's game, and you guys are by no means young anymore. And I get that music and bands have to evolve over time. If they don't, they keep making the same songs over and over and over, and that gets boring, but at the same time, there's no excuse for you guys doing little more than making tepid attempts at the music and sound you once had. I'd respect you all more if you just stepped away completely, instead of continuing to release this bland brand of hard rock that's simply for people who don't want to rock very hard anymore. When's the last time you guys sat down and really listened to Kill 'Em All or Master of Puppets? I have to think that when you do, you find yourself saying, damn, we used to play some really heavy stuff. And when you put it next to our efforts from the past 15 years, it's outright laughable. If that hasn't crossed your mind, trust me, there are millions of people across the globe who think that every single time we hear your new studio work. It's no longer a question of how heavy will the new Metallica album be. It's shifted to a question of how mainstream and tame it'll sound. You guys are all multimillionaires by now, so it begs the question why exactly you've resulted to making music that sounds like it was made by shells of your former selves. You're one of the few bands on the planet that can play any country that has power and sell out every single show. And even if you played only songs that you made before 1991, every single song you played, the place would absolutely explode, likely more so than when you play one of your new smatterings of musical mediocrity. So if you don't need money, is it an ego thing, or is this really the best music you can create right now? Have you guys lost your will to rock? To let yourself get into a sound so heavy that it could possibly result in a musical misstep? You know, that somewhat scary musical space that you were clearly operating in for the first half of your career. I don't hate you guys, I never could. You remain one of the greatest and most important hard rock heavy metal bands in all of music history. Nobody can ever take that away from you. But honestly, if all you want to do now is play subpar, barely hard rock music for well-adjusted people, do your true fans a favor and step away before you dishonor your legacy any further. Oh, and by the way, have any of you guys had a chance to punch Avril Lavigne in the mouth for desecrating Fuel all those years ago? If not, you need to get on that right now, or I'd be more than happy to do it on behalf of your true fans.